Welcome to Readings from the Animal Kingdom with Kareema from Pet Care Magic. I'm an animal communicator, a Reiki master who specialises in animals, and an intuitive psychic. And I like to combine all of those modalities into channeling messages from the animal kingdom for myself and for others. We live within a community of not only people, but a community of many, many wild animals, as well as many domesticated animals. You might have dogs or cats or fish or birds or rats or mice or whatever in your home, tarantulas, if that's the sort of animal you love, in your home. But then there's also a huge number of animals outside of your home, from big to small, up in the sky, down in the earth, even under the earth, in the trees, right around us. And all of those animals at any particular point in time may or may not have a message for you. And I'm going to invite you through these readings done every week on a Sunday, hopefully, to listen to that message, take what resonates for you, and open up your way of thinking over the following week into how that message does or doesn't fit into your life. It's okay if it doesn't. It's okay if only some of it does. That is 100% up to you. The animal kingdom has no egos. They don't mind. They just hang around out there, and if they're given an opportunity to communicate a message, they will. Each week will have a particular theme to it. Before I start the reading, I will meditate on what animal I think has the overarching message for that week. And I will then choose which of the numerous animal-themed decks I have to work out which deck I will be using for that reading. So this reading, as most of you know, if you're regular watchers of this channel, know that I do like an overriding card or an overriding theme for the reading. And I struggled a little this week. I sort of looked at all my animal decks. I thought about various animals. I thought about various natural elements that I have in the past used, and I couldn't come to any sort of strong sort of conclusions. And I looked to the left, and on my bookcase I had my my crystal oracle deck, which I don't use a lot. I use more personally. I've never actually read from it per se as a standalone deck. And it sort of called to me and said, "Okay, have a look." And I pulled the deck down. I shuffled the deck. I thought a little bit about it, and I eventually pulled a card. And interestingly, the card I pulled was this beryl. And I thought, well, what the heck's beryl? Never heard of a crystal or a gemstone or a geological item called beryl. So I did a little bit of sleuthing on the internet. Now I have a background in science, but I have a background in life sciences, human biology, with a major in anatomical pathology and cytology. So the geological aspects of science and the chemical aspects of science have never been my forte. So beryl is, Wikipedia tells me, beryl is a mineral composed of beryllium aluminium silicate with a chemical formula. I won't go into that. Well-known varieties of beryl indicate emerald and aquamarine. So I do know emeralds. Most of us do know emeralds. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. Naturally occurring beryl is a hexagonal crystal and can be made up to several meters in size. The terminated crystals are excuse me, I'm going to sneeze again. Are relatively rare. So it's similar, but not that similar. Beryl varieties, red beryl, green. It comes in all sorts of colours, obviously, which most crystals do. So the particular card I drew was the green beryl. And now here's the really weird thing. So I pulled out the guidebook that comes with the cards, and I had a little marker on a page, which I sometimes do if I want to, if I've looked at a card and I want to go back to it, I will sometimes put a little quick marker there. And here's one of these weird things that always make my hair stand on end. I had marked beryl. I haven't touched this card deck for literally months. At some point, I've obviously pulled the card beryl. I marked Beryl and I read about Beryl. That was where the marker was. So like, all right, okay, you're trying to tell me something. I didn't obviously listen the first time. And the sort of words around Beryl are resolution, stress reduction, potential new possibilities. And that's what 2024 is really feeling like. There's been almost as soon as we went into 2024, there seemed to be a shift across a lot of the places I look at on the internet, and a lot of the feelings I get passed down from people and from animals. I got a strong feeling of, okay, we've moved from 2023 into 2024. Let's do a mindset shift. Now, whether that's going to continue or not, who knows? I hope so. And this card to me is very positive. Resolution of something or something. So is that resolution on a worldwide scale? Is that resolution on a personal scale? Is it resolution for people who are in businesses? You know, that can mean a lot of things. Stress reduction. A lot of people feel a lot less stress when we move from one year to another. There's this psychological impact of, okay, well, that year's gone. Let's move into another year, or you're able to mentally reset. Potential new possibilities. Well, don't we all hope for that at the beginning of a year? So is this going to carry on? I suggest to you that this will carry on if you allow it to carry on. If you allow resolution, stress reduction, potential new possibilities, if you allow that to become your mindset, then this is what 2024 is going to be for you. If you don't allow it, if you then within the space of a month or 2 months or whatever that looks like, say, oh, well, there it is, a new year, it didn't work, blah, 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 then that's what's going to happen. I strongly subscribe to the power of positive thinking, to the energy you give out is the energy that will come back to you, and all about manifesting what you want. And if that's, and I'm going to say to you right now, if you want resolution, stress reduction, and potential new possibilities, then now is the time to start manifesting that. So that's the overlying theme of today's reading. So let's see what happens when we go to the cards. I'll invite you now to click pause on the video, look at the card A, B and C, and jot down either in the comments below or on a piece of paper, wherever you think is appropriate, which card resonates most for you. This is not something you have to do within seconds. It might take you a couple of minutes. At this point, you might walk away and say, I'm not going to do this today. That's all very fine. But is it A, B or C that most calls to you? So card A, and this is the World Animal Dreaming deck from Scott Alexander King, a deck that probably is my favourite deck. It's favourite because I love the artwork on it, and also I love the animals. Whoops, you didn't want to go into there. I love the animals that also are on it. And I might have just destroyed the mystic for some of you. So Jaguar was the card A that got pulled. Jaguars are interesting animals. There's not many of them left in the world, sadly, but they're animals that are very stealth-like. Impeccability is the word that's put onto this card, and they do things behind the scenes. So the Jaguar is suggesting to me, and the Jaguar just told me, suggested to me, and the card suggested to me, that there's been a lot going on behind the scenes, quietly, that things have been shifting and changing without you realizing it. That the Jaguar has been behind the scenes. I call a Jaguar one of the power animals. They're very, very powerful creatures. And they exert their power and their influence quietly and subtly. They don't do it in a loud sort of in-your-face kind of way, much like the lions will do. They're much more stealthy, and they go about things. They'll get up very high, and they'll have generally a good overview of what's going on. And they do things, as I say, quietly, moving and shaking behind the scenes, so you don't know it. And that's where the Jaguar fits in today. They're also very beautiful animals. And the Jaguar is reminding me that we all need to appreciate the beauty within all of us. The beauty within, the beauty also within the world around us. You know very much that I often have a theme of take the time to sit back and smell the roses, and to be conscious of being happy for the things that happen rather than things that don't happen. Let's go on to the next card because I'm not quite sure where all this is going today. So the second card I pulled was card B, which is the meerkat. And what came to mind when I first saw this card was the meerkats often appear to be looking into the distance. So the meerkat is saying, look into the distance, stand up, be proud, and look forward, and not only forward, but forward and back and around and up and down. Look in all directions, but look outside of where you are. Look forward rather than being stuck in where you are, and actually raise yourself above what it is you're stuck in. Raise yourself above the crowd and get a different perspective over things. And I think that comes back to what the Beryl was saying, which is see things from a different angle. The Jaguar is going to say the same thing, which is the Jaguar's angle of seeing things is from above. The meerkat's angle is seeing things is from the ground level, but by raising themselves up as far as they can off the ground level and having a really good look around, getting a 360-degree view as you look around. And I think the Jaguar gets a much better view as they look around too, because they're able to go up into the trees and get a much better overview. So both of these animals are saying to us, go and get a much higher view of where you're used to looking. The meerkat always comes across as me as don't be frightened to be cheeky. Meerkats are incredibly cheeky. I love watching meerkats. Last time I saw meerkats, I was out at Western Plains Zoo at Dubbo. I think it's now owned by Taronga Park Zoo, and they had this wonderful meerkat enclosure. Lots and lots of meerkats. And they're cheeky. They're so cheeky. And they're such fun to watch. So again, the meerkat's also saying to me, have some fun while you're doing all this. Don't forget to remember that life needs to have some fun to it. And that being cheeky can be that fun. Cheeky, but not in a bad way. But be cheeky, but also be dependable in your cheekiness. That makes sense. So cheeky can be, we can think of sort of like pranks and things, which I don't necessarily like many pranks because often I think they've got an underlying nastiness to them. But be cheeky, but still be dependable at the same time. And I am going to cut this reading fairly short today too, because next door has decided to use a chainsaw right when I'm doing the reading, and I already was in a bad mood, and that's not really terribly helping. But if you need to, then you can always continue this conversation in the comments below. So card C. Card C, come on now. Card C. Card C is the turkey. And what came to mind when I saw the turkey was the Jaguar and the meerkat have been very much about go above the issue and have a look at it. The turkey is to me reminding us that yes, we need to go above the issue, whether it's off the ground or go higher up to view the issue. But the turkey is also saying to me, don't forget to keep looking at the ground and keep investigating in a minute way everything that is in the ground. Think about what the turkeys do. And I'm thinking more about the bush turkeys. Whenever I see this, I tend to think more of the bush turkeys here in Australia than I do the turkeys that are farmed for the table. But notwithstanding both the bush turkeys and the turkey that are farmed, domesticated birds that are farmed, it's about scratch the ground all the time, uncover every single inch. And then that takes me back to Beryl that said, new possibilities. Be aware of those new possibilities, and aware in three ways. One, by going above the problem, going up higher and having a look at the problem. Two, by raising yourself above the crowd and having a look at the problem. And thirdly, from the turkey, by making sure you investigate everything that's right below you as well, that you are standing. All right, guys. All right now, that you are standing on as well. And do it in a fairly methodical way that allows you to really, really turn over all of those potential possibilities. Yeah. Now they're banging next door, isn't that good? Come on, Pop-Ups. Yes, I know, it's a loud noise. Come on, Pop-Ups. Come over here. Good dogs. Good dogs. I know there's a loud noise next door. Isn't that funny? Isn't that silly next door? Isn't that silly next door? It is. Now I'm driving. Looks every time. So yeah, the turkey is like, turn it all over, turn every inch over, because if you don't turn every inch over, you're not going to see those new possibilities that Beryl was talking about. If we go back to Beryl, if I can go back to Beryl. Not sure where Beryl was now. Don't mind, they just hang off there. If we go back to Beryl, it was like stress, potential new possibilities. That's a bit that the animals are telling me, that you won't see those potential new possibilities in order to get the resolution and in order to get the stress reduction. You won't see those if you don't do what the Jaguar is telling you to do, which is raise yourself above the problem and look at it from a different perspective. Meerkat's also saying, think about a different perspective and maybe add that little bit of cheekiness to it. But the turkey's saying, be methodical in your approach. Look at everything you're standing. Look at the basis on which you're standing. Look at the ground on which you're standing, and scratch at that ground to identify what those new possibilities are. Examine each one of them from the different perspectives, says the Jaguar and the Meerkat. Examine each one of those and work out what could be possibilities. Keep an open mind about it, I think, is what also is the overriding thing coming across here. So card C was the turkey. And just as I'm finishing the reading, the noise has stopped. Wouldn't you believe it? It's probably about the most I can get out of this reading today. I'm sorry it is I'm sorry it's late. I didn't have a terribly good weekend. I was struggling a fair bit, and thought maybe this morning would be better, but so far it hasn't been. As I say, if you want to, I invite you to continue the conversation down in the comments for this week or for longer, for any week. And I invite you to like and subscribe to the channel, like this video. It also helps getting it out in the algorithm, and don't forget to turn the notifications button on. Yeah, I try very hard to go live on Sunday afternoon. It just depends on what the day has been like. Unfortunately, my days are not always predictable, and I will bring these to you just as soon as I can after the event. Thank you very much for being here with me today. I hope you found this enjoyable. It is for educational purposes only. If you do want a fuller reading, then I do those obviously online, so you can be anywhere in the world. Just go to petcaremagic.com and you will find the link to book a time to have a fuller animal reading. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification buttons if you want to be notified when I do more of these each week. Thank you, and I hope you all have a really great week.